Thanks, David.
Our next guest is a six-time ARIA Award winner and one of the biggest names in Australian music. With 2 #1 albums and more than 800,000 records sold, Mark Lizotte, otherwise known as Diesel, was a pioneer of Aussie rock and roll in the 80s and 90s. And now, Diesel is revolutionising the music industry again with a brand new movement.
Yeah, and Mark joins us now in the studio. Great to see you, buddy. Let's start with this campaign that you are championing here. This is Women in the Music Industry. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I guess probably about a year and a half ago, I was brought to my attention that there was a podcast that Triple J ran. Actually, my daughter was listening to it, and she came running in and said, you know, do you know these facts? You know, and laid out a whole bunch of facts, and I have to admit, I was a bit surprised, because I guess in my mind, growing up in a colour, gender, kind of void of any kind of discrimination, and this comes with music in my house was just music is music. So I thought about it and I thought, yeah, well, you know, actually it's not surprising. It happens in all, you know, sectors of the workforce and all kinds of different industries. So a little bit sad to hear that it's like that in the music industry, but yeah, we're trying to just bring awareness. APRA and AMCOS have got an initiative where they're going to be bringing in some mentors, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, we're trying to close that gap. And yeah, I think what happens is a lot of young ladies, you know, and by the time they get to high school, they're going really, really well with music, and then something happens. You know, school finishes, and they're sort of told that that's kind of like, well, you know, that's not a real path now. Like, put the music off the side. You know, get a real job or whatever. And yeah, that obviously happens with male and female, but seemingly more with females, which is appalling. So I think we need to just kind of bring awareness that it is actually a very real career that you can pursue.
Yeah. Well, some of the biggest stars in the world are women.
Exactly.
You know?
So we need to kind of, just kind of get that kind of, you know, ancient draconian sort of idea out the window.
Yeah, here.
Mark, you're celebrating 30 years in the business with a brand new tour.
Outlasted Tupperware and a few other things. Yeah.
Timeless and classic.
But still, he still has a burp lid.
Tell us about the tour and what's in store for fans.
Well, this tour, yeah, in 1987, I arrived off a bus, literally, in Riley Street, and then a couple of days later, I was in the same street upstairs, recording with Jimmy Barnes, which, you know, I would have never imagined, of course, but I was sleeping on the couch of our would-be manager, or was going to be manager. And yeah, so that street seemed like the center of the universe for me at that point. It was like everything was happening in that jump off the bus in the studio. So yeah, that's 30 years since being off the bus, 30 years off the bus, and also 25 years since 92 was when we released Fidelity. So,
massive album, massive.
You know, that was my first solo album, and obviously a big deal becoming a solo artist. And
that's still a great album. So you're going to play a lot of the hits from that time?
We're going to play a lot of stuff that I haven't played off Fidelity for a long time, which now seems like someone else's album and someone else's songs. Listening to it the other day, it was kind of like, did I do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll do some of that, and then we'll just roll back through, I think, 16 albums now.
Gee whiz, man, what an output.
Earlier this year, you were involved in the Sydney Symphony Orchestra's George Michael tribute alongside David Campbell.
That's me, I'm right here.
That's right. Now, because this morning on the Today Show...
I just have to say, David was like the glue in
that held it together.
That whole thing.
Is that right?
There was a lot of glue happening backstage.
Tell me about the relationship. What's the relationship here? Explain it for us.
Well, Mark married Jeppy, who's Jane's sister. So my.
So what's your?
You're confused already now.
I am so confused. David's related to everybody.
So I guess he's like. I guess it means that you're like a step uncle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Step uncle.
Yep.
But I've never called him uncle.
No.
unless we've wrestled, and then I'm like, uncle.
Yes.
That's been it. Hey, you know
should call me uncle. Though.
I should actually, out of respect and deference. I want to ask you as well. You know, we're learning about the death of Glenn Campbell this morning, and because he was such a great guitarist and a great pioneer of music. I just want to throw it out to you what he meant to you and what his music and artistry as a guitarist meant to you.
Glenn, when I started finding out what was behind, you know, the star. I mean, I grew up, you know, watching his TV specials. I'm sure they were showed out here, but I remember like watching him in America, especially in Arizona when we lived in Arizona. They seemed to be always on, the Glenn Campbell special. And yeah, he just seemed like the ultimate entertainer. And then you get sort of, the further you go deeper, you find out he was an amazing bass player. He played on so many people's records, bass, guitar, sang, and could write songs, and was a great singer. Like what didn't he do? Like it seemed like he was just you know, incredibly gifted in every way. So, but watching the documentary recently, I'll Be Me, was the most beautiful thing about that. That was all about family, you know, and how strong his family is, and to see his kids come around him and his wife, and just it's a beautiful thing. So I think that leaving that doco was just about, you know, the best thing you could possibly ever do.
Well, you know, it's great, and you're right, family is the strength of music, and I'm pleased that we're family, and we've finally acknowledged this on TV. But if you should go see Diesel on this tour, he's going to play every single hit that you know and you love. Go to dieselmusic.com.au, and he's better than Tupperware.
Yes.
There you go, you can put that on the poster.
That could be your new byline.
At least lasts longer, and you'll find the lid.
Thank you so much for coming in today.